So we are back with one more new remedy, Bivalve, Mytilus Edulis, and Dr. Kushala is taking today's case. We have already taken two cases. One is oyster and another is pecten. So just understand this third shade of Bivalve. Welcome, Kushala.
Thank you, Nirupama. So, hello, friends. Let's hear this case of Mytilus. It's interesting because the entire case has gone to the source level. So, let's try to understand the patient through the case. So, this young lady, around 27 years, she lives abroad. So, we had a telephonic conversation through a video call in Jan 22. So she came with a complaint of PCOS since 2018, and she said that my early years when my menses had just started were horrible. I used to get them early, and the pains are also very bad, and they were not consistent. Also, I have a lot of anxiety related issues. So, whatever psychological things that I see or hear on TV, or if I hear from somebody, it affects me. And I also have low self esteem and body image issues. She's a little heavy on her lower body. So I go from not eating to binge eating. As I got older, I feel discomfort, especially there's a lot of bloating in my middle abdomen. And I have a small upper body, but more weight on the lower hips. So her parents had migrated when she was very, very small. And there is a difference in raising here. That's what she said. In the sense, academically, we all siblings, we did very well. And there was a lot of protection from my parents when we were growing up. And we did not have much friends. There was disconnect. There was social anxiety, meeting new people and new settings. I'm proud of my culture. We grew up in minority. In age 21, when we came to India, I felt comfortable. But social changes or society changes, it's very difficult to navigate. When she went to third grade in her upper primary over there abroad, her primary class teacher just told the students, "Tell us about your holidays." And she got so panicked, she went into such a stress that she collapsed. She went into a syncope. She said in lower primary, there was no public speaking, there was no class change, or there was no new teacher. Everything was new teacher, new environment. I just couldn't handle speaking a simple thing like, "How was my holiday?" So I collapsed. But now, as an adult, I have more control. When young, I did not know how it happened, how to manage. I didn't know how to relate or tell people who didn't look like me because her class was full of other children from other countries too. I didn't know how to speak in front of people who don't know my background. Lot of people, I have to tell them my background. I feel so alien, conscious of everything. Kids would bully you. It was not a welcoming place. Teacher was stern. I did not feel a sense of belonging. Fear of not presenting myself how I wanted to be seen. I didn't feel comfortable. I was panic. My heartbeat was high. I was feeling nervous, heat on my face and neck. In sixth grade high school, I was drawn to a group of students who were also brown skinned like me. So we all stuck to each other. But we were all teased for the food smell that we brought in our tiffin boxes and because we used to oil our hair. It was different for them. I definitely do relate to their culture. When I went to India, I felt I'll feel so Indian, but then I was homesick. I wanted to go back. People who leave India need to find a place for themselves abroad. School 5 days a week. At recess time, I would do my own things alone. I would go to the library, isolating feelings. I felt bullied. Once I was among my people, I felt safe and comfortable. Otherwise, I didn't feel safe. There's a deep seated existence of racism in this country. We were not wanted here, accepted here. Now the world is changing. People are opening their minds. My study was to protect migrants, feel everyone should belong somewhere. World treats refugees and does not house them. World creates refugees, but they do not house them. My father migrated when he himself was young, but he had to do all odd jobs because his degree of India was not valid there. So he had to restudy in the university. My mother, too, she had to struggle with the upbringing of children, and her degree was also not valid in that country. So she also had to do all odd jobs like teaching. Knowing what my parents went through, it was so unfair. Our house here is safe, staying inside the house. Father protects us. He reads books with us. We play in the backyard. Father, because of his initial trauma, he's very protective of us. Feel very unsafe and vulnerable, scary, never knowing if today is a safe place. Will I be called names? Will I be physically abused just because I look the way I do? In 2001, I met an Indian group of our religion. It was a youth camp with activities. They used to teach kids how to feel comfortable as a migrant. The camp was massive, helped to make me feel comfortable inside and outside. I excelled in graduation. My parents worked really hard, never made us feel we don't have enough. In high school, there was a lot of comparison among girls about fashion and rich colleges. I'm proud of my community and culture. My parents are kind and helpful. They buy gifts for orphanages. I want to be good like them. I hope they will be pleased with me imbibing their qualities. I am sensitive to anything related to my family, and there was tears in her eyes. I have stored a lot of emotions and unresolved anger on people who made us feel other. So I land up in binge eating. I haven't let myself grieve when my close relatives died. I felt I should be the one to support my mom. We were raised to give our opinion. Our ideas were respected. I feel nervous. How will this be received in my new marriage setup? The extended family culture, it was new to me. I was very uncomfortable. It was shocking. Moving to a new house was a challenge. I like to plan on paper. When we were growing up, it was only us. My whole world started there. It breaks my heart to see my family upset and sad. Anxiety, a lot of things to handle. I think I hold myself to high standard to meet those needs. Pressure in myself to excel. Lot of things together. I mentally panic. I procrastinate a lot. Do things not needed. Fear of failure. Fear of disappointing people I hold in high regard. I need positive reinforcement from people. I feel responsible to make my parents happy after all the stress they have taken for us. It was such a sensitive case taking. So I just asked her an out of box question. Then what in nature you can relate yourself to? And there she goes. I relate myself to river, go somewhere eventually. It's a forceful journey. Water in the river is constant, calm, still, moving. There are points which are dangerous, strong, force behind it. It can't change. A river flows to ocean. It can't be stopped, constantly moving. I feel in the river warmth, sun, cold. It is moving gentle, not rushed. I'm just about to be swept away. Rock in the river to support me. It's clear, pebbles in the bottom. Big river. Sides there are stones, centers deep, more to the side. I am me in the water. I'm part of the river, not necessarily water. I might be one of the pebbles in the river. That is why I'm in the side, because I might be moved around. I feel like pebble, keeping with stream of water. Largest rocks is where I get support. Then river sweeps me along again. Small stone, bit of earth. I feel with the larger rock or stone. Bigger group is passing, moving together. Meet at the same place at rock. We keep getting separated, some left behind, moving together. When I'm moving, doing it alone. So I asked her, what's your experience of this? Very little control. I have no choice. It just exists and follows journey without any autonomy. Not much of say. Stops when it has to, constantly moving. Its feelings depend on the river. If river is calm, it can be calm. If river is angry, powerful, gets pushed, swallowed, and dragged around. Pebble is the size of a thumbnail. Flat little stone, dark gray black. Dry is gray, wet is dark color, almost black. It's on a journey. It didn't initiate itself. It probably came from something bigger. Now small by itself. It could be tired, wants rest. Depends on the strength of the river. I just want to join other pebbles on side and be peaceful. If pebbles join other stones on side, unlikely to join river again. Pebbles isn't angry. Force of river, no control where the pebble lands. There's a lot of unknown. How long its journey is going to be? When will it get a break? It could get stuck as well if it gets pulled too far. Get stuck at the bottom. Without forceful river, stuck indefinitely. Need force to move. Strong river is bad for the pebble. In a calm river, it'll get stuck. The pebble has very little say what river does. Pebble is small. River is powerful. Pebble is at the mercy of the river, doesn't have its own power. Feel very vulnerable, mercy of other forces. Doesn't have its own ability to change its circumstances. I'm putting a lot of anxiety on the pebble. It's powerless. Doesn't have control on its own journey. If stuck, has to wait, pushed. Doesn't have ability to get unstuck. Stop river from pushing it, no control. In river, pebble is not the strongest element by itself, it can't flow. If there are multiple pebbles can stop by itself, no power. Pebble can have power from other pebbles. Strength comes from bigger rocks in a group who can support. Her menstrual history was that her first 2 days she has heavy flow with dysmenorrhea. Her menarche was age 10, 11. She's having irregular menses from age 14. At age 22, there was such a heavy flow for 4 days with a lot of backache, bloating, sleeplessness, constipation before menses, better after menses, lot of PMS, mood swings, irritability. She would cry for no reason, worse before menses. And she used to get into this vasovagal syncope, low BP, and would faint with dizziness. She's worse by heat, stress, anxiety, and whenever she used to bend to pick up weight, she can't stand quickly. She cannot breathe properly. So when I analyzed this entire case, I said, what was prominent? What was prominent was you versus me. There was a lot of comparison and a lot of victim-aggressor issues. She was a weak personality. I mean, getting into vasovagal syncope just when the teacher asks, describe your holiday. Her nervous system is not so well developed. She collapses. It looks like a plant, so acute, so sensitive, and yet you get into panic. But the comparison and victim aggressor issues being so prominent, we put it under the animal kingdom and into invertebrates. They are so primitive, instinctual. There's so many talks about issues of life and death. talking about threatening experience, need to feel safe, issues of life and death, short lifespan. Even in relationship, there was no clear-cut enemy, something which cannot even have a name, which does not have a name. The whole world seemed so dangerous to her. The symptoms were vague, the borders were not well defined. She needed an external shield for protection. The feeling of smallness, I'm weak, I'm vulnerable, I have no power, was coming so often and very hyper in the response to the outer world. So much of panic attacks. Reactions were often extreme, no middle way. Instincts governed by instincts, materialistic, not so much aware or not drawn to spirituality, very self centered, like monocots. The world is centered around them. So once we came to the animal kingdom and the invertebrates, the experience of mollusk was coming so prominently. The sensitive nervous system, which was not so well developed, very sensitive to all kinds of suffering, and they'll do whatever they can to avoid it. If they get it, it's dramatic, terrible. There's hyperesthesia with a strong intolerance to pain. You'll see a variety of sensations in mollusks in general, like soft, jelly-like, crushed, smashed, broken, closed in, shut in, gelatinous, unprotected. And they also complain of cramping, clenching. You'll see a lot of hand gestures of closing. Many have venous as well as lymphatic congestion in the feet. They are not grounded. Many mollusks begin their life as free floating larvae. They descend to the seafloor as soon as they develop shells. They are self centered and self contained in my own world, my own space, disconnected from others, detached, isolated, secluded, which we saw in her also. She used to isolate herself from the group, sit in the library. There's issues of inside versus outside. Should feel safe inside the home, close versus open, lose touch, lose contact, lose excitement, life and liveliness, confined, claustrophobic, suffocated. So a bivalve, which is more, shut in, prefer to be inside the home. Psychotic. Bivalve water element is prominent, being in the womb, safe. In column 2 of the animal chart, as the mollusks evolve, the attempt is to come out of the shell and to lose the shell in order to face life. Movement is always inward. Retreating into their shell is their instinctive survival response. This is the chief energy pattern. Even the hand gestures you'll see of fingers closing, drawing backwards, inwards, retracting. Their first defense or their instinct to defend themselves is to retreat, to move inside, to close. As a larvae, these bivalves, they float, drift, and swim. They often express a feeling of not being grounded without an anchor. So you'll see a lot of fear of heights and giant wheels and aeroplanes. Most of the bivalves are in 3 stages of development. They can be the womb stage, which in mineral is a lithium line of development. They can be the infancy stage, that is the natrum line of development, where they hold on to past grudges, or they have social phobia, or they can be a calcium line of development, which is more toddler and school age, where they are talking about money and health, dreams of fear of robbers entering house, harming them. So they make sure all the doors are properly locked. So understanding that this is a mollusk, this is an animal, invertebrate mollusk, womb, because she's so much feeling safe inside the womb. In their shell, she's happy, want to come out, but she's happier. And so much of family, panic, clingy, wanting the family, grouped together, feeling safe together. I gave her Mytilus Edulis 200, one powder. Her PCOS also improved. She got her menses very regularly. She's out of most of her symptoms. Maybe every 2 or 3 months, I have repeated few doses for a year. She's doing extremely well for herself and feeling very well settled in a new place, in a new home abroad. So from here, I invite Dr. Aditi to share the differentiation of different mollusks.
Yeah. Thank you, Kushala, for wonderful presentation of the case. So now, after listening to Dr. Kushala's case of Mytilus Edulis, we will try and differentiate all bivalve remedies which come closer. They are most isolated, very lonely, slow, very averse to change, and they can be compared with the mineral group lithium. And pathologies which are commonly seen are headaches, migraines, vertigo, and skin eruptions, eczema, psoriasis. Now, next remedy, Mytilus edulis, the case which we saw from Dr. Kushala. Now, it's a psychotic miasm, again a water element. They clamp together. They always want to be with each other. They clamp together. They move also uh, in the clamp way. They need to cling, very clingy, they need lot of support, very dependent on the family, colleagues, panicky remedy, extreme anxieties, which can be compared with mineral Kali group. And pathologies, what we see in Mytilus edulis is gallstones, fluid in the joints, then fainting, tinnitus, ovarian pathologies. These are the common pathologies seen in Mytilus edulis. Then the next remedy is pectin jacobians. It is psychotubercular miasm, lot of fire element, anger, movements, they run away. As compared to the Venus and Mytilus, here there is lot of movements are seen, lot of motions are seen, more angry and stubborn. There is confusion, unsure versus obstinate, confident remedies. They want to show off that they can do something. They try to do more than their abilities to be seen as a strong and capable and efficient people. Can be compared with Calcarea sulf, Calcarea iode, Calcarea ars, and the pathologies which are seen in pectin J is asthma and TM joint pathologies. Lot of TM joint pathologies we see, lot of tightness of TM joint, necrosis of the jawbone we see in pectin J. Then oyster. In oyster, it is psychotic miasm, earth element, very tightly closed. They are very primitive, very tightly closed, stuck, fixated, cemented. And for them, survival is the biggest, stability and survival. That is the biggest issue in them. Very routine type of people, cannot endure change, bad desire to remain in bed kind of people. Calcarea carb is a mineral coordination, and they are presented with joint pathologies, arthritis, bones, then necrotic pathologies of the bones, and a lot of anxieties are also seen because of their stability issues. Then the next is concholinum. It is tubercular and syphilitic miasms. Here, the main elements are air and ether element because they are very evolved. So, very spiritual. And responsibility binds them together. There is a strong cover up. There is a materialism in concholinum, very shiny. Concholinum is basically the inner shiny layer of the pearl, not exactly pearl, but the bivalve. The inner shiny layer of the bivalve is the concholinum, mother of pearl, what we call mother of pearl in common language. So they are very shiny and very aesthetic also. They want to shine. They want to be appreciated. They want to be famous. And very similar to Calcarea silica, fame desire for. And the pathologies which are covered are joint problems, abscesses, even this epiphyseal part of the bone, which are affected very prominently in concholinum. That is what we see in concholinum. So these are in nutshell the differentiations of all the bivalves. Now we have given very concise presentations, but we have done before in our lectures video cases of oyster, pecten J. So and today we have done Mytilus edulis. So you can go and visit our integrated site and listen to and watch these videos. Now I invite Dr. Nirupama to further give bivalve differentiations and age-related understandings of bivalve remedies. Yeah,
Thank you, Aditi. So basically, if we see this case, see, so easily patient went into source, right? So when patient goes easily into source, usually it's early development. And water has capacity of that. Water takes you to source because it has capacity to flow easily. Lot of emotions going here and there. Continuous emotion is again an water element. After that, if you see patient has given feeling of here and there, typically of first subclass. She said, there I don't belong. I'm not happy there. I'm not part of them. But when she comes here, she she feels safe. She feels comfortable. But again, she's not happy here too. So continuous process of here and there, you can see here, which brings you to second subclass. And then if you see the father figure who is so protective, patient felt comfortable with the father, and that is how you versus me and other things takes us to mollusk. And when it comes to Mytilus edulis, water is so important because they want water for survival. So what happens? They stick to each other, and with that, they hold water between them. So they do not dry, and that is the survival. Similarly, the strength, when they are together, they're able to face the rough ocean. And that is how it is important to see how others give them strength. That's why it comes very close to Kali, as Aditi said. And patient said beautifully where you can locate me. She said she connected herself with the seashore where she is. See, she has given the whole travel of Mytilus Edulis. And and that travel also without poking. Physician has not asked many questions, but very easily patient flown into that journey. And the physician, a sensitive physician who has capacity to travel with patient, experience the pain of the patient, and sympathetically flow with the patient. And in time, empathetically, they come out and bring their patient out is the true healer. And that is what we see here, the way physician flown with the patient and the way physician brought her out and helped her. And then you really give the magical result to such patients. So thank you, Kushala, for bringing such a beautiful case at our platform.
Thank you.
And thank you, friends, for watching our videos regularly and encouraging us. So keep watching, keep encouraging, and keep spreading our videos. Hmm? And with this, we stop here. Thank you.